Good afternoon, everybody. You're listening to CSHR Radio live right here. And today, if you're listening on Facebook, on the actual internet radio station, or so on and so forth, this is the Now from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're going to be talking about a few things local. Hang on just a second. Let me get this shared out real quick. I know I'm slow, and I apologize for that, but you know, it's okay. It's alright. We can all be slow at times, or something. And of course, this is in the wrong page. Give me a second. I am so sorry. Anyway, we got a lot of topics to discuss. One is going to be the veto session that is currently going to be going on within the Louisiana legislature, which that ought to be pretty amazingly horrible. They're talking about a lot of hot button subjects right now, and hang on just a second. Alright, I got one more click to make, and then I'll be right back. 1 second, please. Because, you know, like I said, I'm slow. Matt, you're going to have to wait. Sorry. Anyway. Let's see. I'm going to send this to a group, too, just for shits and giggles. Anyway. Alright. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. The veto override session starts tomorrow, actually, here in Baton Rouge. There's a lot of hot button issues that's going on with that now, and it's crazy. The lawmakers are, obviously they're going to try to override the governor's vetoes, but it's basically it's a culture war against LGBTQ. Me being in the effort of staying non-biased, I'm not going to give my thoughts on that. Although I do agree with the lawmakers, and I don't agree with John Bell Edwards on a lot of this stuff. And the reason being is because one of the laws that they're trying to override, it's basically so you can't discuss sexual orientation in the classroom. Now, I agree with that, and I disagree with that on two levels. And the reason being is because I think it shouldn't be discussed until there's a certain age, you know, and that age is kind of hard to decipher, really and truthfully. But at the same time, we've gotten to be so progressive that you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. You can identify as man, woman, non-binary, transgender. I mean, you know, the list is endless now at this point. And it's a double-edged sword. It really is. I mean, it's you know, it's a double-edged sword, because if you don't teach it, how is the teacher going to identify in front of those students? You know, how does that work? Do you just forget about it until they get old enough? I mean, if you're transgender and you're male and say you don't have the hormone treatments you should have, but you prefer to dress as a woman and you identify as a woman, how would you get that across to a child that looks at somebody with a 5 o'clock shadow that's dressed like a woman that's clearly a gentleman? And this is the craziness that's our state today. And that's what's going to start tomorrow. They're going to try to override a bunch of governor vetoes. John Bel Edwards apparently making lawmakers upset over there at Baton Rouge. That's just not surprising. You know. And we do have a somber occasion today. Our law enforcement agencies around the state are now marking the anniversary of the 2016 ambush shooting, which took the lives of three of our officers immediately, and one passed away later. Still don't. I mean, I really don't think they ever found a motive for that. Maybe somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, which would be great because I am. No, Tyson, I'm gonna have to decline. I'm not into mommy groupers. And like I said, today marks that anniversary. Our hearts and prayers go out to the families of those officers that were killed in the line of duty. On July 17th, 2016. So, let's go ahead and move along. Let's see, we got a bunch of storms again today, which is not new for Louisiana. I hate to say it, but of course, stores are seeing an increase in ticket sales ahead of the estimated $900 million Powerball jackpot, which I mean is understandably. I understand why it's almost $1 billion. Imagine if I played the lottery, I would be buying tickets. I used to play the lottery at one time, but the problem was whenever I played the lottery, I forgot to buy a ticket one weekend, and then I realized if you take that same dollar bill and you flush it down the toilet, you get the same effect. So, I mean, I really don't. The idea of winning the Powerball, especially $900 million. I mean, I couldn't even wrap my mind around what I would do with that kind of money. I don't think I could spend that foolishly for the rest of my life. I mean, you can comment on these podcasts, so if you're out there and you're listening, or if you listen later, go ahead and shoot me a comment. What would you do with $900 million? I could think of a lot of things. And the Powerball jackpot, estimated at $900 million heading into Monday night's drawing, is the third biggest Powerball jackpot and the seventh largest in the U.S. lottery history. And it was luring more hopeful ticket buyers into shops. The game's abysmal odds of 1 in 292.2 million are designed to build big prizes that draw more players. The largest Powerball jackpot was $2.04 billion in November. The last time someone won a Powerball jackpot was April 19th for a top prize of nearly $253 billion. Since then, no one has won the grand prize in the past 37 consecutive drawings. Powerball is played in 45 states as well as Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. I did not know they had the Powerball in Puerto Rico. I thought those people were broke. I really did. What did they bind in Puerto Rico? When did they start playing the Powerball in Puerto Rico? I never do that. Then again, I'm not all that intelligent either. I just pretend real well. So there's that. Obviously. And I got some type of notification. I don't know what that was. Oh, that was JLR. Jonathan Lee Riches on Twitter tweeted update. And I'm not reading it. So it doesn't matter. Let's see. Yep. Yeah, I'm sure it's no big secret over there at Plaquemine. Dow Chemical had a problem, which is nothing new. That place. I used to work there at one point, and I will say this, and Dow, I really don't care if you get upset or not when I say this, but I will say that that plant is way past its life expectancy and should have been torn down 20 years before I even worked there. That thing is rotten. The entire plant is just rust rotten. And, I mean, yeah, of course they're going to have an investigation as to what caused the explosion, but, I mean, I've literally seen rusted through pipes in that place. Some of the things that were noted as being said was stop them cars from turning. One person appearing to be a deputy says. Another one said, Dow is making a plan now to start putting some water on that fire and get it out here shortly, says another person. West Baton Rouge is going to send 6 units down to help y'all with whatever y'all need, says a voice appearing to belong to Iberville Sheriff Brett Stassi, which is a neighboring parish, West Baton Rouge, and Iberville. If you're not from here, if you're listening from a different area or whatever, those are neighboring parishes, and sometimes the way it works is they'll lend like law enforcement or firefighting resources and stuff like that to other parishes if they're close or if they need them bad enough, which, I mean, obviously a fire in a plant is a bad enough occurrence to where you would need to ask for help. Later on, a voice says law enforcement is taking calls from families that are eager to know when the emergency will be over. Residents calling to find out if they can get back in their homes. One person says around 4 a.m. The announcement, around 4 a.m. after that, the announcement comes through that many in the parish have waited hours to hear. EOC just called to advise that they just sent out the message to give an all clear on the shelter in place, a person says. Dow Chemical also says it's still working to identify the cause of Friday night's explosion. I'm just curious. Like I said, you can comment on these, especially on YouTube or on Spotify. I don't know if you can comment on Spotify. You might be able to. I don't know. I know you can comment on Spreaker, which is one of the platforms this goes out on. We are live now, so you can actually comment here in the on the live. But I mean, if you're listening to the podcast later, please comment. I know somebody out here that listens to this podcast lives in that area or works in that plant could tell me what unit blew up. That's all I'm wondering right now, because there's some units in there that, I don't even know how they run. That's what I really want to know. What unit blew up? So let's get back to the news. Let's see. And of course, a dump truck can't drive in Bruley. That's not new. Now, I know this is also a sore subject around Baton Rouge, because Baton Rouge traffic is just absolutely around the 5 to 6 o'clock area when you're sitting in your car, which is why this podcast is on right now. I get it. I get it. I've sat in that traffic out there on the interstate and just wondered why. Why on earth is it like this? And I mean, we all clearly know why it's like that, but, you know, the bottleneck at the basin of the bridge, you know, the bridge everyone hates, the new bridge, you know, so on and so forth. But this week, on the north side of City Park Lake, they are going to start permanent widening of the bridge for westbound traffic. You know, you're going to see crane activity and all that other stuff. The last time I passed through there, that crane's actually set up right there by the Dalrymple exit. So, I mean, you're definitely going to see some work. So, I imagine that one is going to have a lot of self-standing shovels because, you know, we don't want to watch people just standing around out there like they do on every other road construction project in this area. I mean, come on. They take forever to do everything. Look at this. Go to Central. And just go to Central and just drive on through. Go down Sullivan. Take a gander at that permanent non-start of a widening project that they started and just abandoned. I mean, I get the widening project on I-10 is a major federal backed and all this other good crap and everything else, but that construction in Central has been going on for the last 10 years that I know of. The last 10 years that I remember driving through there, that widening project has been the way it is now, which is absolutely nothing. And it's not even a big project. I mean, come on, guys. It's not even a big project. Why can't you go out there and finish the project? What happened? I really don't get it. What happened? Well, the only good thing about this new bridge construction is that they're saying there shouldn't be any impact on traffic at this time. Oh, well, that's even greater. I mean, once the widening project is completed, there will be 4 travel lanes in each direction from the I-10, I-110 interchange to Acadian Thruway, which does absolutely nothing for the bottleneck on the eastbound side of the bridge. That's great. Let's go from 3 lanes down to 2, down to 1, back to 2, back down to 1 again, and then force everybody that's in the wrong lane off onto Highway 30. It's wonderful. This is almost as bad as the traffic lights at the Denham Springs exit. Which, I'm not going to lie to you, if I can sit there with my phone while I'm waiting in traffic with a timer on my phone in time and count the amount of vehicles that go through, I'm not a traffic engineer by far, but some basic math would fix those lights. And then you can stop pushing for roundabouts at the Denham Springs exit. We remember what happened when the roundabouts in Walker, when they first opened, which people are used to them now. And they're great, don't get me wrong. But please don't screw up traffic even more to put in something that's just literally a headache. You know there's going to be some 60 or 70-year-old person that gets stuck in one of those things and drives around for 3 or 4 hours in circles and runs out of gas, and, you know, then it'll be a health crisis and all this other stuff. Please don't do this to us. We have enough roundabouts. There's about 7,000 of them in Livingston Parish alone. 90% of them are at small little bitty crossroads. I'm sorry, but if your driving program taught people more how to use stop signs, you wouldn't need to do that. No, that's to improve the flow of traffic, just to keep everyone moving. Why? Sometimes people need to stop. I am one of those people. I should not be driving all the time. I probably shouldn't be driving at all, but that's a different story. And by far, the traffic in Baton Rouge is getting worse daily. And what's horrible is you almost have to drive exactly like them in order not to get ran over. That's the bad part. It's the funny part, but it's also the bad part. But then again, like I said earlier, it is what it is. I'm going to send this to one more person. He's probably asleep, but I don't care. I'm going to send it anyway. And this is a shameless promotion. And I'm not getting paid for this, but I am going to go ahead and send a shout out to CPAC and their seafood products. Because we had some awesome crab cakes, or crab poppers, or whatever you want to call them. They're like mini crab cakes. And butterfly shrimp. That was from those people, and oh my God, they were amazing. That's my corny, non-paid for plug for today. Oh well. And don't hack people unless they truly deserve it. Please don't say that in my comment section. Jeez, that's horrible. For anybody that's listening and can't see the comments, somebody just commented that it was a hacker link that I posted in one of the chats, and it's not. I wouldn't do that to people. Not when I'm trying to promote something, which I am trying to promote something here. So I would not be, like I said, I wouldn't be, like sending out bad links, because that would just be horrible and unethical. And Patrick Cox, you know all about ethical, don't you, sir? Yes, you do. For anybody that doesn't know who Patrick J. Cox is, go ahead and Google him. Just Google him. That's all I could say. Just read a couple of headlines. Yep. Also, while you're at it, look up, well, I'm going to leave that alone. We're not going to get into all that today. Anywho. So, that's where we are right now. We talked about the traffic. We talked about Powerball. Of course, more houses burned down in Baton Rouge. Silver Dollar Pawn and Jewelry Center owner and former cast of Cajun Pawn Stars, Jimmy Del DeRamus, who opened a Silver Dollar Pawn and Jewelry Center in 1985 with his wife, died on July 13th, 2023 from cancer complications. He was 71 years old. We want to send out our thoughts and prayers to his family. We're sorry to hear that. He was actually a pretty funny guy on the show. So, that's some sad news. Zachary.
Flashing yellow left turn arrows. They can reduce crashes.
Zachary is still looking for authorities with the Zachary Police Department. Still need the public's help locating a stolen truck. According to police, the white Ford F-250 was stolen within the city limits of Zachary around 4 a.m. Friday, July 14th, 2023. Police confirmed the truck was last seen traveling north on LA 964, or Old Scenic Highway, if you know where that is, if you're listening now. Anyone with information about the location of the vehicle is asked to contact the Zachary Police Department at 225-654-1992, or you can send them a message on Facebook, obviously. Why? How do you even steal a truck nowadays if you don't have the key? I had one part go out on my truck for the anti-theft system, and my truck wouldn't do anything until I fixed it. And there was no way to override it. So how do you steal a truck now? And like I said, it was a late model F-250. Did you just leave the keys in this thing and walk away from it and went, oh my God, somebody stole my truck? Yeah, I have some questions for you, sir. Let's see. What year model was this truck? It's a white F-250. Okay, looking at the pictures, this is gotta be mid-2000s. My old truck is a 2002. It's an 02. I mean, come on. And there was no way to bypass the pass system, it's called, on this truck. When one little ring went out, and that one little piece of plastic costed over $30. Really? Why? Why was it so expensive? I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense. What the hell's wrong with this? Anyway, this has been fun. Let's see if we can find some other Zachary news. I know those guys out there, and they like to hear about what's going on around their town and stuff. Oh, well, that's not surprising. In Baton Rouge, they had a carjacking. That doesn't surprise me. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. It's been fun. Y'all have a great day. This is the Now, CSHR Radio. This was actually pretty fun. I enjoyed it. Y'all have a great afternoon.